Good morning, everyone, and welcome. If I listen to Jeff and Adrian here, who just opened us here, it sounds like we're going to do some geeking out today together, and really look forward to that. So welcome to our second annual Hybrid Cloud and Edge Day 2023. I'm Jan Hofmeyer, the Vice President of EC2 Services at Amazon Web Services. I'm delighted to be here today to welcome you and introduce you to some of the exciting AWS hybrid cloud and edge technologies behind some of our customer innovations. I'm also really excited at the set of presentations that we've been able to put together for this event. Hybrid Cloud and Edge Day is an opportunity for us to dive deep and tell you some of the details about hybrid cloud and edge technologies, how we build it, and how our customers are using it. Today we're going to hear talks covering some really interesting themes. So thank you for joining us, and let's get started. In the last few years, we've continued to build hybrid cloud and edge capabilities at Amazon, driven by our customers' desire to extend the benefits of AWS infrastructure, our services, our APIs, and tools to wherever you need to deploy and operate their solutions. This includes traditional cloud, on-premise, or ever-expanding edge, meeting the needs of innovators, developers, operators, and our buyers. And customers are urging us to go even further. At Amazon, our approach begins with working backward from our customers' needs. We talk to many customers, and what we are hearing today is they are faced with challenges building one set of solutions that can be deployed and operated across the full continuum of the hybrid and edge environment. And without a common experience across the cloud, on-premise, and edge environment, it can be slow to build and deploy and complex and costly to operate due to the discontinuity in the capabilities and the experience. These are some of the most common challenges our customers want to overcome. And while many applications can be easily migrated to the cloud, some needs to be re-architected or modernized before they can be moved. And a few will remain on-premise or in a specific location due to low latency, local data processing, or data residency requirements. These applications reside everywhere from large metro centers to on-premise data centers, branch offices, smart factories, and even to highly distributed edge locations, including restaurants and retail stores. Regardless of where these applications may need to reside, businesses today want to bring the cloud closer to wherever they need it to build and run their applications. Now, let's explore a few customers that AWS supported for each of these applications. First, I'm going to start with, I'm sure many of you have experienced very large migrations and modernizations in your on-premise data centers. So starting with migrations and modernization for Athena Health, a cloud-based electronic health records and revenue cycle management company. They deliver software to patients and providers using a SaaS model with their software deployed in Athena Health managed data centers backed by a legacy database. As part of Athena Health's modernization journey, they've been building new features and modernizing parts of their software in the AWS cloud since 2017. Very similar to what we saw with NASDAQ starting in 2018 with their migrations. However, modernizing features from a monolith system that has a strong dependencies on data model that is not isolated based on application features is very time-consuming. To expedite this modernization of the application functionality, it is using AWS Outposts deployed in their data centers to modernize its application code, which can still connect to legacy data with minimal latency. Though the eventual goal is to migrate the whole application along with its data to the cloud, AWS Outposts provides Athena Health the ability to accelerate, modernize its application features with Amazon EKS on-premise without having to untangle its data model. AWS Outposts extends the same EC2 instances, the APIs, and the tools in our customers' on-premise environment, creating efficiency for developers to use the same technology stack and deployment model across AWS region and on-premise. The next customer, very excited, is Mercado Libre, who is the largest online commerce and payment provider in Latin America. And they now have over 100 million active users. The rapid growth of its business pushed it to think about how it could centralize and scale its distribution center operations at the pace of its business. While it has migrated 90% of its workloads to the AWS region, some of its operational technology called OT workloads in its distribution centers are extremely latency sensitive. The question became how Mercado Libre can maintain a cloud-first approach while meeting latency requirements for their OT workloads. Mercado Libre has deployed a variety of these workloads on Outpost racks, including automation systems in their facilities, Wi-Fi access control, and physical access control systems. Building on the success of the Outpost racks, Mercado Libre is now testing Outpost 2U servers for automation and robotics control services. With Outpost racks and servers, Mercado Libre is able to meet latency requirements for OT solutions while enabling business agility and IT efficiency. Outposts can play a key role, allowing Mercado Libre to run applications seamlessly across the entire geographical presence with centralized management and consistent operations, while leveraging their strong AWS in-house know-how. Next up is data residency, and we see this a trend happening in the industry where more and more data is subject to regulations where the data resides is an important criteria. The FanDuel Group, the leading sports and gaming company in the US, was facing strict regulatory requirements and state-specific legislation, stipulating that all processes involved in bet placement must reside within the boundaries of the respective states where online sportsbooks are allowed. When a state announced it will legalize online sportsbooks, FanDuel must prepare immediately for a working sportsbook by the go-live date. Failure to do so can result in loss of market share and increased costs to acquire users. FanDuel now leverages local zones in conjunction with Outpost for high availability. This also enables them to comply with regulations and eliminate the need to deploy hardware, establish data center contracts, and configure networking. FanDuel employs standardized deployments using infrastructure as code and heavily leverage EC2 for computing, building databases, and other components on top of it. The presence of an approved local zone helps eliminate single points of failure and optimize performance. FanDuel managed to increase overall productivity and increase time to market from 15 to 16 weeks to just 20 days. They also reduced the overall latency between applications and generated 30 to 40% performance improvement. By leveraging the edge infrastructure, AWS enabled FanDuel to enhance the customer experience, making their product more responsive, reliable, and resilient. Next up, low latency. Now, we have lots of low latency use cases. This is a requirement that we see over and over from various customers in various industries. The one I want to call out today is GumGum. It is a global digital advertising platform that specializes in contextual marketing, facilitating advertisers in marketing ads based on a digital media content. GumGum offers Verity, which uses an in-house computer vision and natural language processing model to scan images, audio, text, and videos across web pages, social media, over-the-top video, and connected TVs, providing contextual sentiment and brand safety analysis. GumGum additionally uses various Amazon Web Services solutions, including Amazon Recognition, which offers pre-trained and customizable computer vision capabilities to extract information and insight from images and videos, and Amazon Transcribe, which automatically converts speech to text. Verity facilitates brands in connecting with customers in a non-intrusive way. This cookieless solution is provided at a sub-10 millisecond interval. Verity is used by advertisers to implement contextual targeting and demand-side platforms, also called DSPs, as a data provider. GumGum uses AWS Outpost in New York and Los Angeles to integrate with major DSPs that require sub-10 millisecond time intervals. And lastly, our customer Autodesk provides critical design, make, and operate software solutions across the architecture, engineering, construction, manufacturing, media, and entertainment industries. In March 2021, Autodesk acquired Innovyze, an industry-leading software company servicing the water industry for over 35 years. The company's legacy on-premise solution for water operations analytics took months for customers to deploy, and they needed a solution that is cost-efficient approach to bridge existing on-premise infrastructure to the cloud with minimal operational disruptions for their customers. Innovyze developed Info360 Insights software platform on AWS that collects water sensor data. Innovyze built Info360 Insights telemetry ingestion services on top of AWS IoT Greengrass, an open source edge runtime and cloud service for building, deploying, and managing IoT device software. This architecture helped Innovyze achieve its goal of capturing and processing data locally, closer to the edge devices like sensors, without disrupting the primary infrastructure of customers. This solution also reduced its time to market by more than 60%, accelerating development time from 2 to 3 years to just less than 12 months. Now, what do all of these examples have in common? AWS enables these customers to leverage cloud's advantages, including top security and monitoring, increased availability, high performance, cloud scalability, and advanced flexibility, all with operational optimization in mind. We do this by providing a consistent cloud experience across all of these environments, whether in the cloud, on-premise, or at the edge. The bottom line is that we don't want teams to be distracted by learning new tools or dealing with new operations. We want builders to be free to focus on building. AWS is doing exactly that. For the last few years, we've been working hard at extending the AWS cloud with new services and infrastructure options to bring applications closer to where you need it, to where your users are, your equipment is, to where you capture, process, and make real-time decisions. And here is how we are doing it. It starts with our global regions, infrastructure, but we've gone further to major metropolitan and industrial centers and even locations within 5G networks. Moving on-premise, we offer solutions from data centers to remote and many times rugged locations, sometimes with limited or no connectivity to the cloud. And finally, to the end devices running at the far edge in cities and factories, automotive, or wherever IoT devices are used today. And if you notice, the arrow at the top goes two ways. We recognize some customers' applications are built in the cloud, and the same capabilities need to be extended all the way to the edge environments, while some other applications are built at the edge and connects back into the AWS regions as needed. AWS can meet them at any stage of their journey. AWS provides the broadest and deepest set of capabilities across compute, storage, networking, and IoT that helps them securely run applications wherever they need it. This continuum of services start in the AWS regions, with AWS global infrastructure providing the widest range of services and offerings to customers. A region consists typically of 3 or more availability zones, each of which is one or more fully isolated, discrete data center. And those regions supports the more than 200 services available on AWS today. I'm excited to share that this year we've expanded into 2 new regions, Melbourne and Tel Aviv, each with 3 availability zones. This brings our AWS global infrastructure to a total of 32 geographic regions, representing 102 availability zones around the world. We also announced plans for 4 more regions coming soon in Canada, Israel, New Zealand, and Thailand. So next, we bring the cloud closer to users in specific metros and within telco networks. We have a number of services for customers looking to get closer to users in these metro areas and telco networks. We have Amazon CloudFront, AWS Local Zones, and AWS Wavelengths. Now let's dive into the latest news and launches for each of these services to take a look at how we continue to support customers in metros. One of our earliest edge services is Amazon CloudFront, and this year, Amazon CloudFront is crossing an important milestone of turning 15. Amazon CloudFront was launched in 2008 as a new AWS service for content delivery. CloudFront uses AWS Global Network and integrates with other Amazon Web Services to give developers and businesses an easy way to distribute content to end users with low latency, high data transfer speeds. Since then, CloudFront has grown to be one of the foundational AWS services that customers choose to reliably and with high performance and secure delivery of web applications. In addition to thousands of external customers, our internal services such as Prime Video, Audible, and Amazon.com deliver content using CloudFront. Most recently, during the Prime Day, CloudFront handled over 1 trillion user requests on Amazon.com, just an astounding number of traffic through CloudFront. With this year's expansion into Peru and Nigeria, Amazon CloudFront now has a total global network of more than 550 points of presence and 13 regional edge caches across more than 100 metros in 50 countries. Just an astounding service, and if you haven't looked at it or used it, definitely go engage with the teams today. It's just remarkable what the service is capable of doing since we launched it. Next is AWS Wavelengths. It is a public MEC solution that embedded AWS compute and storage services within telco 5G networks, providing mobile edge computing infrastructure for developing, deploying, and scaling ultra-low latency applications on edge devices connected to 5G networks. With the launch of a new zone for British Telecom in Manchester, Wavelength is now available in 30 locations across the world. Our service, AWS Local Zones, lets customers meet latency, local data processing, and data residency requirements in more locations without deploying self-managed infrastructure. This is fully provided by AWS and managed by AWS. On October 5th, 2022, we started the expansion of local zones in metros outside of the US with the launch of Delhi and Taipei local zones. And over the next 9 months, we launched local zones in 15 additional metros outside of the US. In July 2023, we also launched a new local zone with the latest EC2 instance types, EBS volumes, and expanded services offering in our Phoenix, Arizona local zone. Today, we have a total of 35 local zones around the world. And I'm so excited to share with you a new hybrid edge offering that we've announced last Wednesday called AWS Dedicated Local Zones. It's a new type of AWS infrastructure design to help governments, public sector, and regulated industry customers meet stringent security and compliance requirements for their sensitive data and applications. With dedicated local zones, customers can work with AWS to deploy cloud infrastructure that is fully managed by AWS, built exclusive use by a customer or a community, and placed in a customer-specified location or data center to comply with regulatory requirements. AWS works with the customer to configure their dedicated local zone with enhanced security and governance capabilities to provide oversight and control over infrastructure access and operations, helping customers comply with regulatory requirements. Dedicated local zones can be operated by local AWS personnel and offer the same benefits of local zones, such as elasticity, scalability, and pay-as-you-go pricing, with the added security and governance features. These features include data access monitoring and audit programs, controls to limit infrastructure access to customer select AWS accounts, and options to enforce security clearance or other criteria on local AWS operating personnel. Singapore Government's Smart Nation and Digital Government Group is the first customer to deploy dedicated local zones. Dedicated local zones help them meet their stringent data isolation and security requirements, enabling Singapore to migrate and run more sensitive workloads in the cloud securely. Next, let's go on-premise. So as with metro areas, we have enabled hybrid and edge applications to be deployed and operated within your on-premise data center, helping in your migration and modernization, data residency, and latency-sensitive applications. AWS Outposts is a family of fully managed solutions delivering AWS infrastructure and services to virtually any on-premise or edge location for a truly consistent hybrid experience. Outposts allows customers to extend and run native AWS services on-premise and is available in a variety of form factors, from the 1U and a 2U Outpost servers to a 42 Outpost racks, and you can have multiple of these rack deployments. Let's go deep into the recent and exciting news of AWS Outpost. First, we continue to expand Outpost availability across, and I'm excited to share 2 new country launches for Outpost this week. Outpost is now generally available in Iceland and Uruguay, bringing the Outpost availability to a total of 76 countries and territories around the globe. And we continuously listen to our customers and bring Outpost to more countries as we engage with our customers. The second launch is the intra-VPC communication across multiple Outposts. That launched this morning. You can take advantage of this enhancement to architect for high availability for your on-premise applications and, at the same time, improve application performance by reducing the latency between application components running on different Outposts. That was a highly requested feature from our customers, and we are very excited that we were able to launch that this morning and make it available to our customers. And back in July, we also introduced the Amazon Route 53 Resolver on Outpost, which allows you to resolve domain name server, called DNS, queries locally on-premise. With Route 53 automatically stores DNS responses locally on your Outpost, and optionally, you can connect with DNS servers in your on-premise data centers using Route 53 Resolver endpoints. Route 53 Resolver on Outpost provides continued DNS resolution during unexpected network disconnects to the parent region. Furthermore, by serving DNS responses locally, Route 53 Resolver on Outpost greatly improves the performance of your on-premise applications. Now let's talk about how we're extending AWS cloud services to the farthest and smallest edge. There are many edge locations with limited or even no connectivity to the cloud, such as construction sites, oil platforms, or mobile environments such as ships, autonomous vehicles, airplanes, and even rapidly deployed military forces. And we've taken this infrastructure even to the most extreme environments. Yes, it's even in space today. AWS Snow Family enables customers to deploy AWS-based solutions to capture, transfer, and move data from these rugged and mobile edge locations to the cloud. AWS Snow Cone is our most compact offering, ideal for non-traditional and portable use cases, such as satellite and aerospace programs. And with AWS Snowball, you have access to larger compute-optimized and storage-optimized capabilities that, once again, is designed to operate in a disconnected and a rugged environment. You can also cluster a group of these AWS Snowball devices together to get highly available storage capacity anywhere on the globe. Next up is our AWS IoT that provides a deep and a broad set of services, partners, and solutions to make it simple and secure to build, manage, and scale IoT applications. These IoT-based applications can be built, deployed, and operated in the cloud, on-premise, and at the edge on an Outpost and a Snow device, and a broad range of third-party devices. AWS IoT offers many services to support our customers. We have the free RTOS, which is an open-source real-time operating system for resource-constrained devices. AWS IoT Sitewise was specifically built to operate at the edge, helping customers collect, organize, and analyze data from industrial equipment at scale without the need to develop additional software. We have AWS IoT Greengrass. It is an open-source edge runtime and cloud service for building, deploying, and managing devices software at the edge, as the example for Autodesk earlier. And then we have AWS IoT Fleetwise. It's a service for collecting, transforming, and transferring vehicle data to the cloud in near real time. And lastly, AWS IoT ExpressLink that powers a range of hardware modules developed and offered by AWS partners that includes software implementing the AWS mandated security requirements, making it faster and easier for you to securely connect devices to the cloud and seamlessly integrate with a range of AWS services. In the last 12 months, one purpose-built industrial IoT service, AWS IoT Sitewise, has received over 50 improvements and enhancements across data ingestion, storage, metric consumption, and data retrieval. Among the most important features are our bulk imports of historical data. AWS IoT Sitewise now supports bulk import of historical measurements from sensors with the launch of 3 new APIs. The new bulk import APIs help customers to ingest historical data from their operations stored in diverse systems, such as historian and time series databases in AWS IoT Sitewise. The second is optimized storage in the hot path data. This performance enhancement significantly improves the retrieval of industrial data from its hot storage tier. We have improved batch APIs by increasing the maximum number of results from each paginated response from 250 up to 20,000. With these upgrades, developers can now retrieve assets, property data, including measurements, attributes, metrics, and transforms at high velocity to build industrial applications. In 2023, we also launched 2 new features for AWS IoT Core. The first being IoT Core Device Location, which makes it possible for customers to track and manage IoT devices using their location data, such as latitude and longitude coordinates. Using device location, customers can optimize business processes, simplify and automate maintenance efforts, and unlock new business use cases. For example, customers' field service teams can now stay informed and quickly identify the location of devices that requires maintenance actions. The second being AWS IoT Core for Amazon Sidewalk. Amazon Sidewalk is a private, free-to-connect community network designed to provide a reliable, protected, and persistent connectivity for billions of devices. Sidewalk anonymously connects smart devices together and creates a highly reliable shared community network. With coverage reaching more than 90% of the US population, Sidewalk enables IoT developers to tap into a freely available network and build innovative long-range applications. Customers with a Sidewalk bridge, which includes the Echo and the Ring devices, have the option to participate in creating this shared community network. When enabled, Sidewalk can help provide timely information about potential gas leaks in your home, alert you to property damage, and make setting up a new device around your home much easier. And lastly, let's talk about how AWS helps you manage, operate, and automate your multi-cloud environments. As customers accelerate their migration to the cloud and transform their business, some find themselves in situations where they have to manage IT operations in a multi-cloud environment. These customers are faced with additional complexity when it comes to operating their applications and their infrastructure. To help customers with these challenges, AWS has been extending its cloud services to help customers streamline, manage, and govern multi-cloud infrastructure and applications. AWS Solutions for Hybrid and Multi-Cloud enables you to simplify and centralize the management of your infrastructure and applications on AWS, on-premise, and in other clouds through the AWS System Manager, which is a secure end-to-end management solution for resources on AWS and in multi-cloud and hybrid environments, and enables operation actions and compliance across Windows and Linux systems, no matter where you operate. Amazon CloudWatch, AWS X-Ray, Amazon Managed Grafana, and Amazon Managed Prometheus deliver deep observability, actionable insights, and host-level monitoring. Customers are able to create a single visualization or dashboard of their hybrid and multi-cloud to monitor queries and correlate metrics, logs, and traces for these services running on AWS. AWS Data Sync can accelerate data movement from nearly anywhere, including all of the major cloud service providers, and it can marshal it from Windows to Linux file systems and back, and even to Amazon S3. AWS Container Services allows you to run applications on AWS, on-premise, and in other clouds. With the Elastic Kubernetes Service plugin, you can extend the EKS control plane into container workloads in other environments, allowing you to introspect these from a single console. And finally, IAM Roles Anywhere extends the AWS experience for issuing access credentials into hybrid and other clouds and automatically centralize and analyze the security data. This makes any server anywhere act similar to an EC2 instance, with an IAM role assigned to it and the privileges to whichever services you need. In addition to having the largest global infrastructure footprint, AWS offers the most comprehensive solution across every vertical from the cloud to the edge. From manufacturing to automotive to regulated industries, customers can leverage CloudFront, local zones, Outposts, Snow, and AWS IoT to solve some of the most complex use cases. Many of these industries have workloads with unique requirements that require close collaboration to develop cloud solutions. Today, I would like to highlight 3 of these industries. In the financial sector, customers like Nasdaq have workloads with extreme performance requirements. AWS have collaborated with Nasdaq to develop an ultra-low latency EC2 instance for capital markets. The new instance achieves the highest standard of performance and resiliency, while meeting Nasdaq's exacting regulatory requirements, including the obligation to maintain fair and orderly markets, and to protect investors and the public interest. The new cloud-enabled system, which uses AWS Outposts, delivers 10% performance improvements in round-trip latency. Another example is in the defense industry. The US defense and national security customers have a need for advanced computing and analytics to securely store, analyze, and interpret data to support their critical missions, from the enterprise all the way to the tactical edge. For defense customers operating in remote or disconnected environments, however, it can be difficult to access the data and applications they need when they need it. Further, different data, communication, security, and environmental requirements across military platforms call for multiple specialized compute hardware options, from software-defined radios to servers. Today, many US defense and national security customers use AWS Snow family services such as the AWS Snowball Edge to run compute applications and store data at the tactical edge. And lastly, I want to touch on AWS working closely with the telco industry to make AWS the best place to run 5G networks to support their network cloudification journey. We started this journey in 2019 with the launch of AWS Outposts to host user plane core workloads processing the network traffic at the edge while hosting the control plane workloads in AWS regions. Amidst many firsts, this saw us implement the world's first cloud-enabled 5G network for Dish in collaboration with Nokia, Mavenir, Samsung, and many others, now covering 70% of the US population. We're also engaged with more than 20 telcos across the globe to help migrate their core network on AWS, leveraging regions, our local zones, and our Outpost. And earlier in 2023, we launched our Telco Network Builder, which is AWS' first purpose-built service for the telco industry. It is a managed automation service that makes it easier and faster for telcos to automate AWS cloud resources required for deployment and management of network functions on AWS. Think of it as the AWS CloudFormation for telco network functions. AWS has created a truly consistent cloud experience from global regions to rugged edge that allows our customers to accelerate innovation with access to the broadest and deepest set of cloud capabilities, supported by AWS and our vast network of partners. We have a lot more to cover throughout the hybrid cloud and edge day. In just a bit, our AWS host will walk you through the agenda and the must-watch sessions. But first, we have a fireside chat on global business and economic trends impacting hybrid cloud and edge computing between myself and an analyst, Elias Nazar, Chief of Research at EK Media Group. So now, let's get started.